Hi everybody, Qualia Counseling Services really excited to begin its first DBT Dialectical Behavioral Therapy program. My name is Thomas Brown and I'm one of the co-owners of Qualia Counseling Services, and I'm here today with 𝗦𝗢𝗓 Reynolds, our DBT consultant. How are you, 𝗦𝗢𝗓?
Good, thanks, Tom.
Great. So in our first chat, we talked about what is DBT, some of the basic ideas, and we even learned about what dialectical means, thinking kind of in creative ways. And we learned about a clock that can be busted, but also right twice a day. So it's both busted and kind of works. So that's dialectical. In our second chat, we learned about who might be well suited for a DBT group like ours and what kind of problems and challenges can be addressed with our DBT skills. And so today, what I'm curious to ask you about is what kind of, practically speaking, will this group look like? Can you start us off with, how does a person get into the group and who's going to contact them? And then even just sort of walk us through a typical session so we understand what we're in for.
Sure. I know sometimes knowing this stuff up front really kind of calms the nerves.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
If you are watching this, I'm going to be the one helping assess and make sure that
beware.
The warning's out there already. So I will be part of the intake process. Right. So even though you may have all these other questions that you want to have a conversation with, I'll be your gal. I'll be the one to help facilitate that. And we're wanting to make sure it's a good fit for you and for everyone else. So we're probably going to look at having intake sessions last no more than an hour. It can be virtual, it can be in person. Now, that's the one thing I want everyone to recognize. When we're doing these groups, it is going to be in person.
Wonderful.
I think there's a lot of benefit from being with others who are like-minded and who, again, we can all learn from each other. Just because I'm a psychotherapist and we're going to have about 2 other co-leaders there too, we may have some knowledge, but we're not the experts on each individual. Right. So being able to learn from each other, I think, is an amazing way that DBT continues to be didactic, meaning like we're learning from each other, not just the co-leaders.
Great.
So that being said, it is going to be a huge commitment. And I think anything worth having is worth working at. So if you're ready to invest in yourself, this 16-week program is going to help you be able to look at ways of feeling more present. And I think I've talked about the emotional regulation and learning how to work well with others and feeling better about yourself, as well as this whole notion of dealing with stress.
Right. Okay.
But the group is going to be from about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So a 2-hour commitment per week, every Wednesday night. Okay. And there's going to be a bit of a break in between the whole time frame there. But the format's going to look like we're going to start off with doing what is typically known as a core mindfulness skill.
Okay. And
that's going to take maybe about 10 minutes. And then from there, we're typically going to be taking an opportunity to do homework review. Okay. Because every week, it's the truth. We're going to give you some stuff to try.
Right.
And when I say that stuff, we are going to hand out some of these wonderful binders. It's like a handy dandy notebook of your own. You're going to have this information to take home with you, practice, read. Yeah. And even develop any further questions or challenges that, we may be able to sort through together with you.
Right.
So then after break, we're going to learn new information. Okay. We're going to have an opportunity to try and synthesize or to piggyback on what you've already learned. And then at the end, we have an opportunity to kind of debrief or give somewhat of an intention before we head out.
Yeah.
It's kind of wrapped up in one nice little tidy package.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So it's not, it's not like we're sitting there will be talking and stuff, but lots of learning skills, lots of learning stuff and tools that we can use in life. And when you say homework, I know everyone bristles, but it sounds like those are going to be like really practical, hands-on skills kind of stuff that you're going to be learning. Is that what, right?
Absolutely. So it's comparable to, going to school and you get a textbook and hey, anyone can read the textbook.
Right.
But to be able to have someone help you learn to synthesize or to apply or even, recognize that this isn't necessarily what I need right now, but it could be later on.
Okay.
That's, I think, an opportunity. But the one thing a lot of people are going to be surprised at is that even though it's going to be heavy in regards to some of the material, I promise you're going to have fun because I and my colleagues are going to be there. And think about when you learn things, it's so much easier to retain things when you're having fun. Think about even how schools are. Like play-based. That's how we learn. But if you're stressed, you're like, oh my gosh, I got an exam on this, and you ain't going to retain diddly squat, right?
Okay.
So we want to make sure this is useful.
That's great. Okay. And one last detail. How many people are going to be in the group, just so we can be aware of who's going to be there with us?
Good question. And it will be a closed group, meaning that we're not going to take on more and more people as we go. So we want to start with the same amount of people, probably anywhere from, 10 to 12, depending on how many are applying and wanting to be present, because I do appreciate COVID is still somewhat of an issue. Yeah. But again, that's going to stay the same size. So there would be anywhere from 10 to 12 people who are fellow group participants, and about 3 of us co-facilitators. Great.
And of course, we'll be following all COVID regulations and rules and things like that. So we'll be in person, but masked up, just as usual, and distanced apart. Great. Well, thanks so much again for giving us all of this information. So, today I learned there's an intake process, and you'll be calling folks and having a chat, maybe up to an hour with them, just to make sure it's the right fit. Yeah. And then the group itself, about 2 hours on Wednesday night for 16 weeks. It's a commitment, but it's going to be really worth it. And lots of learning, lots and lots of developing skills so that we can manage and kind of approach life in a different way. Thanks so much for joining us today, 𝗬𝗓, and everybody else out there. If you want any more information, please go to our website, 𝗦𝗢𝗓𝗔𝗟.com, call us, and we can answer some more questions. And yeah, just like 𝗬𝗓 said, and I think as you can see from our little videos here, it is going to be a skills group, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that 𝗬𝗓 will guarantee that. So thanks again. We'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.